As you've seen on Everyday Reviews, we review everything from cars to cheese, from the latest DSLR cameras to the latest smartphones. Well, today's review is about what's recording me right now, and that's called the SOLOSHOT2 Robotic Cameraman. That's right, there's no one operating the camera right now, and it's following me. This is Everyday Review that you have to see. Once you've paired the tag that I'm wearing here with the base, it's pretty simple. The camera tracks wherever you go. The range is 2,000 feet and it's perfect for pretty well any outdoor activity. You know, you could do soccer, rock climbing, horseback riding, motocross, surfing, kite surfing, you name it. If it's outdoors, you can do it. Now this has the camera controller attached to it, which controls a Sony CX240. There's also a list of other cameras that are compatible with this camera controller. You can go to their website and find out. So with the camera controller, I can start and stop record wherever I am within 2,000 feet, which is very handy. And not only does it pan and tilt, but it also zooms. I didn't get a chance to try this out in a lot of different scenarios due to real bad winter weather here, but I did get to try it in Nevada a couple weeks ago. Now bear in mind, this was the very first time I attempted to use this, and I was in a real hurry. The circumstances were probably the most extreme. The subject was a very fast Corvette Z06 on a large racetrack. This is a scenario which is perfect for the SOLOSHOT2 though. Everybody wants to drive, nobody wants to film. So set the SOLOSHOT2 up and hope for the best. It worked fairly well, but there were times where it wasn't quite framed properly or it seemed like the SOLOSHOT couldn't keep up with the speed of the car. A lot of the misframing though was due to my calibration as I really rushed it. Another thing to note if you do have this, and you'll learn this really quick, is once you've calibrated and paired your tag to the base, do not go within 30 feet of the base if you have the tag on. What you want to do is press the button on the tag twice and it will put it into standby mode, and the base will just kind of go into a freeze mode. If you don't do that, this is what happens. The base kind of goes crazy and your next shots might not be framed properly. I was so rushed, I didn't even have time to recalibrate or reframe it. The SOLOSHOT2 can be as simple or as complex as you want it. You can use multiple bases and multiple tags, or a single base and multiple tags, where you can tell it which one to pick up, either the closest one or the person that's wearing the tag. They just hit the button and it'll go to them. The SOLOSHOT2 currently only works for outdoor activities. The reason is that it needs the satellites to track this tag here. But they are currently working on an indoor solution, and that's going to be great. Imagine the possibilities of that. It's going to work in conjunction with the SOLOSHOT2, and you could use it for, let's say, how about weddings or your YouTube videos inside, or how about a dance recital? Instead of looking through that little viewfinder, you can actually enjoy the actual show and let the SOLOSHOT2 work for you. So for my dislikes, they're not really dislikes, but kind of things to be aware of. First of all, this is not just a pick up and turn it on and use it type of system. It does take some time to set up. Now, every time you do it, you get a little bit quicker at it and it becomes a lot easier. Like I said, on the Corvette that I filmed, I had no time and it was the very first time I used it. So that's why the framing was a little bit off, but as I used it more and more, it does become a little bit easier. It does take time though. You have to set the tag up, you have to warm it up for 8 minutes, then you have to actually do like 50 paces, and you have to pair it with the base, and then you have to calibrate it. Second thing, there's a lot of modes to know about. You know, just for these little buttons here and the little lights, there's a lot of things. There's, you know, there's altitude mode, surf and turf, pan only. Then you have your tight, medium, and wide settings for it. You even have a barrel mode for surfing. If you're actually going through a barrel or if they're going through a tube, it's predicting where you are. You can use this with a DSLR for bursting shots. You can use it for astronomy. This thing is very, very high tech. Most people will probably just use it for one thing, and after that, once it's set, they'll just probably forget about it and they won't have to touch anything else. Now, the other thing on my wish list is I wish that there was kind of a sliding base plate for your camera to attach, opposed to just a screw on in the one spot. Reason being, it does have a 5-pound capacity, but this camera is not even 5 pounds, but it does have a very heavy lens on here, this big heavy prime lens. Now, if I put it on to this camera without being able to slide it back and forth, it's too front heavy, and which means it's too heavy for this little motor to actually tilt it. So a little bit of a slide would be very nice. So how good is the SOLOSHOT2? Is it going to replace a good cameraman? No, but it'll definitely replace a bad cameraman. The SOLOSHOT2 starts at $399, and that gives you the base and the tag here. You add your own tripod and your own camera. But if you want to go for the full meal deal, you get the tripod, you get the base, you get the camera controller, and you get a Sony CX240 high definition camera. Everything ready to go for $649. So if you need someone to film you and there's no one around, I think it's a no-brainer.